they have also known this aspect of our system, that we can take anything, that whatever they do to us, we can take it. Whatever they do to us, we will just let it be. And when you look at things from that angle, you will accept the fact that it seems as if Nigerians have either they have a selective amnesia, or they have a very short memory. Nigerians tend to forget things, and they forget things very, very fast. If we do not forget things very, very fast, how come the very people who kill us, how come the very people who rob us dry, how come the very, very people who destroy us are the very people we wake up suddenly and campaign for? The very people who do not have us, who do not have our interests at heart. Whenever they show up at our doorstep asking for our vote, we willingly forget everything they have done. Either maybe because they paid some people 15,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira, some were even paid 2,000 naira. And they will forget that these were the wicked politicians who robbed us dry. These were the wicked politicians who ruined everything for us. And all of a sudden, you will see Nigerians carrying placard. This is the winner. This is the winner. All of a sudden, we've forgotten everything. And that is why I want to bring this message to you all today. Because I want to wake up as many as possible to some hard reality. If after this broadcast, we still do not think it necessary to wake up and save our nation, then we will truly be known as a very, very strange people. Fellow Nigerians, we have only one nation. We don't have any two nations. If anything happened to us today, that nation Nigeria will no more be. We will all be strangers in foreign land. I don't think that is a legacy we want to bequeath to our. I don't think that is a legacy we want to bequeath to our coming generation. I don't think we want to leave an evil legacy for our children, that we have the opportunity to rise up, to stand up, stand for what is right for once in our life. Say no to corruption, say no to evil, and then mean every word of it. Sorry for that. After the last time that I made a broadcast, I was reliably informed that the broadcast went viral, and I got calls from all over the world. Of course, some of them were complimentary, while a lot of it were damning. I got calls from political powers in Nigeria. They threatened me. They warned me that I am trying to destabilize the system. That what kind of... Oh, please, sorry for that. It's a phone call trying to come in. They warned me in so many ways about what I have done, that I am trying to expose the cabal. And because of that, I should be careful. I was reliably told to watch my back, and that they may likely come for me. And as candid as I can be, I gave them the go-ahead, that if you think you can do anything to me, not because I am here in the United States, but because of who I am a child of God. And I will not easily come out here and say certain things, you understand, if I don't have the backing of heaven. And because I am saying things with the backing of heaven, brethren, let me let you know this. Nothing can happen to me. And that is why some of the things I'm going to say right now are really, really scary. It's going to be scary to some of you. I don't know how many of you have known some of these things, but as frightening as some of them may be, they need to be said, and they need to be said now. This is the time to set the record straight. This is the time to open our eyes to certain truths. Well, I thank God for the gallantry and the boldness of my older brothers, Nnamdi Kanu and the rest, who have been saying things which Nigerians have been ignoring. But funny enough, Nnamdi Kanu is not telling you some of the things I'm going to have to say right now. Why? Because these are things I've kept for so long, and I did not think it necessary to bring them out. But I need to say some of these things for one reason. And the reason why I need to say some of these things right now is probably to wake up some of us, to make some of us to see reason, to make some of us to know that there are things you need to know about Nigeria. There are certain truths you need to know about Nigeria, so you can know the kind of nation you have. I have been privileged by the grace of the Almighty God to be in the power circles, to be in the intelligence circles. And by the grace of the Almighty God, apart from being a prophet of God, there are classified information that I have been bequeathed with. And because of the situation we find ourselves right now, I just realized, and after praying so much about it, that Nigerians really need to know what is going on. You need to know what is going on right now. See, brethren, we've been talking so much about Buhari, about the death of Buhari in London, and so on and so forth. And some people are still obviously living in denial. I've seen a lot of publications, I've seen a lot of broadcasts, I've seen a lot of, in fact, prophecies and counter prophecies that say, oh, this is a lie or this is the truth. The other day, Bishop Oyedepo of the Winner Chapel came out and he read an article from the newspaper, the Times newspaper in Nigeria. I mean, the Nation newspaper in Nigeria, and a man of Bishop's class will come out publicly to say, well, if this is true, then I am not saying this is the truth, but if this is true, then we are done. You really think a man of the class of Bishop Oyedepo, Bishop David Oyedepo, will come out and say something as damning as that, knowing the consequences of his words? He will come out in the public. Bishop Oyedepo will come out and tell this whole nation of Nigeria, because when Bishop Oyedepo stands on his pulpit to preach, he is standing as a statesman. I am not saying he has everything right, no, but I am just asking you, Nigerians, a question, that you think that Bishop David Oyedepo will come to the pulpit and make such careless statement about the situation of Nigeria if he was not reliably informed, and yet gullible Nigerians will say that cannot be true. I've heard a lot of things, people saying, how is that possible? How is it possible that a nation of highly intelligent people with a vibrant military force will accommodate a Jubril or a stranger in our government house to become to be pretending to be our president, and no one is doing anything about it? When I listened over and over to the kind of hallucination of Nigerians, I went into my chamber and I said, God, this is time these guys need to know what is going on. Somebody need to wake them up. Somebody need to wake them up. And I was given the go-ahead to say some of the things I'm going to say. Some of them I've never told people before. Some people very close to me have probably heard some of these things, but it's going to be shocking to so many people. And that is why we need to talk about Nigeria. Those of you who are thinking that these accusations and allegations are not true, how well do you really think you know Nigeria? What do you really think you know about Nigeria? Because the kind of things I'm going to say right now, some of you will know very well that there's no way I could have gotten such information except either from the Directorate of Military Intelligence, or from the Department of State Security, or from inside the presidency. And these are secrets that are circulated in the intelligence circles. But unfortunately, they don't want you to know about it. So for you to know that getting a duplicate for Buhari, I mean, there is a misinformation going on also, which is what the government is now trying to defend. They are claiming that we said Buhari was cloned. Nobody ever said Buhari was cloned. We said Buhari had a duplicate, not a clone. To clone somebody is a biological process that does not happen overnight. But brethren, all through military history, rulers, kings, potentates have had doubles. It is done for security reasons. It is done right here in the United States. It is done in the United Kingdom. It is done in so many nations all around the world. It is done in Russia. top rulers have doubles. They do that for security reasons. There are times when a ruler is not able to attend a function due to some health issues or whatever, or maybe due to risk factors. They will send the double. The double will go there and act as the original. And in most cases, you will never be able to tell the difference between the double and the real one. It is not something that is new. This is something that has been through history. Ordinary Google will have told you that having a double of a ruler is a normal thing through history. The Russians have been very good at it. Here in America, it is something that has been done over and over. There are certain meetings which a ruler will not be able to attend. Due to risk reasons, they will send the double. Unfortunately, if the double get killed, that is his business. But you see, where it actually gets twisted is if, for example, something happened to the double, it will be hard for the government to sell the truth to the public that he, the president or the ruler, did not die because they saw the double take a bullet. So if anything of that nature happens, it's actually kind of a little bit dicey situation to handle. So I want you guys to know that what the cabal did in London is not strange. And I want you to also know one thing, fellow Nigerians, that the cabal is doing everything in its power right now to bury their parts. They are doing everything right now to cover their tracks so that this question of Jubril will not show up at all. And do you know the first thing they did? Do you know that the consul general in Sudan was assassinated? He was gruesomely assassinated on the 10th of May this year. This was the guy who did the arrangement for the Jubril to go to London. This guy is now dead. When I read this news on an international media, I called some people in Abuja and so on to verify. Is it true? Did they really assassinate this guy? They confirmed it to me that yes, the guy is actually dead. And I even saw that some Nigerian newspapers actually carried the news, but they bloat over it. That way, people didn't ask any question because you couldn't have seen the connection between the death of this innocent man and the charade that the government put up, or not the government necessarily, but our cabal they put up. So this guy has now knew too much. So they mugged him. So right now, this young man is dead. And to the international intelligence system, he was just assassinated. So what kind of a coincidence is that? That our consul general in Sudan, just when our people are beginning to ask questions, how did this guy get to our system? Then our consul general is assassinated, gruesomely murdered in his house. And the police only came and saw him in the pool of his blood. And this happened on the 10th of May, fellow Nigerians. Our consular man in Sudan was assassinated in his house on the 10th of May. How many times have you read through history that a Nigerian consular person was assassinated? How many times have you guys ever heard about such a thing? Okay, they want to cover their tracks and they quickly assassinated him. I told you guys how they are trying to make sure the vice president does not become the president. But fellow Nigerians, you will bear with me, those of you who follow me. This is not the first time I came out to tell you people what was going to happen. When Buhari was not forthcoming from London, and it was constitutionally right for the vice president to take over the reins of affairs, I came online and I told everyone that Osinbajo will not become president of Nigeria. Some people got very mad with me. They were like, what is your problem, you this man? I told them, it is not about me. The powers that be do not want that man to be president. And moreover, heaven is not also backing him. Heaven is not backing the vice president, and the vice president will not become president of Nigeria. I said, no matter what happens, he will not become president of Nigeria. It will shock you to know that at that time, the trump card in the hand of the cabal was actually the Senate President, Bukola Saraki. Bukola Saraki was the one they actually want to make president of Nigeria at that time. But do you know why Bukola Saraki also did not become president of Nigeria? Bukola Saraki was going to become too smart for the cabal. If Bukola Saraki actually had become president of Nigeria, a lot of things were going to go wrong. He was going to take power in such a way that the cabal will not have been able to control him. In fact, the Obasanjo factor will have come to play. And when I talk about the Obasanjo factor here, it's talking about how Obasanjo became president of Nigeria. I mean, some of you know very well that it was Babangida, Abdusalam Abubakar, and General Gusau, 3 men. These 3 northerners were the one that put General Olusegun Obasanjo into power. General Ibrahim Babangida, General Abdusalam Abubakar, who was then the like an interim president, interim military president, and General Gusau, who finally later became the director of national intelligence or security, so to speak, the national security advisor. These were the 3 people who made President Olusegun Obasanjo to take over the realms of power. You must also know that when General Babangida went to visit President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo at Tuta Farm, he gave Chief Olusegun 200 million naira to prepare, because the Chief Olusegun Obasanjo had just come out of prison at that time. He was given 200 million naira by General Babangida. 2 weeks later, exactly 2 weeks later, General Gusau went to Tuta Farm and gave Chief Olusegun Obasanjo 150 million naira. And then when later on Chief Obasanjo went to the palace, he was given another 200 million naira. Do you know why they gave him all this money? That was the money they gave him to prepare in order to take over power. And then from then on, everything started to unravel, and until Obasanjo became our president. Where they did their campaign as they claim, but you and I know very well that campaign was just on paper. It was just in the mouth of people. The decision to make President Olusegun Obasanjo, to make Chief Olusegun Obasanjo to become our president, has already been made by the military top brats, the retired military top brats at that time. But brethren, there's still a lot more surrounding all this charade for you to know that the people deciding our fate, they are much more ruthless than you think. Where do you guys think that some of the powers that came into power? Let's go back a little bit, brethren. Let's go back memory lane a little bit backward. Let's go to the time of Shagari, how Shagari became president of Nigeria. Some of you may know this, most of you may not actually know this. The decision to make what is his name? Shagari to become president of Nigeria was actually made also by top military brats. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who was then head of state, was one of them. Of course, Shagari had to be made president of Nigeria because Awolowo, who won the election, threatened he was going to probe previous governments. Because he was going to probe previous governments, Obasanjo, his own countryman, told him to his face that Obasanjo, will not hand over power to Awolowo if Awolowo does not drop the idea of probing the previous governments. And because Awolowo refused to drop that idea, Awolowo was aced out of the game, and Shagari became our president. But then there was more to it. For Shagari to become president of Nigeria, a lot happened under the carpet. A lot happened under the scene. Fellow Nigerians, I tell you authoritatively, because anybody who think they can counter anything I'm saying should come on social media, call my name. I am Reverend Abraham Lewis. Call my name, counter any word I'm going to say here, that you know better than me, you know what happened, and that what I said is not the truth. Come on the social media, go anywhere, go online, make a publication, denounce anything I have said here, and call me a liar that I lied and I did not know what I was talking about. Fellow Nigerians, the decision or the power to make Shagari to become president of Nigeria was not a democratic decision. It was a highly demonic decision. For your information and for you people to know how this game was played, certain people were involved in bringing Shagari into power after the decision by the military top brats was taken. Certain people did certain things in order to effect the transfer of power to Chief Shagari. And do you know one of the people involved? There was this former man from the north called Alhaji, who once held our foreign ministry, Minister of Foreign Affairs. And then there was Lukman, who held Petroleum Ministry for so many years. But then they were a part of a cabal. This cabal were so powerful at that time. They could do and undo. And they were all members of a high satanic cult. Do you know one of the things they did at that very particular time in order to entrench their evil agenda over Nigeria? 9 pregnant women were assassinated every month, and the amniotic fluid of their womb were poured into the Kanji Dam with the invocation that anyone who uses a NEPA light will be demonized and they will not do anything else but to vote for Shagari. They did this thing until the election was over. And one would have imagined that after the election was over, this evil will end. The evil never end. They continued. These wicked people continued this satanic act. They continued slaughtering the 9 pregnant women, even until when General Babangida Badamosi came into power. They were still doing it. They were still slaughtering these 9 pregnant women and pouring the amniotic fluid of their womb into the Kanji Dam in order to hold power over Nigeria. Those are the evil that our people did. You wonder why we are where we are? You wonder why we are stuck? You wonder why we are not moving forward? Because there is too much bloodshed over the nation of Nigeria. Too much bloodshed over the nation of Nigeria. And then, as if it was not just enough, if this broadcast will ever get to the doorstep of General Ibrahim Babangida, I will speak to you, General Ibrahim Babangida, directly, that I happen to be one of the people who knew what you did in Abuja when the Aso Rock was built. I just happened to be one of the few people who also knew how many young men were buried alive. They were not shot dead. They were buried alive. Your cabal, your satanic cult hunted for young men all over Nigeria, and they were 500 in number. They were buried alive for you to secure demonic power over Nigeria. And all the Nigerians who participated in the construction of the Aso Rock, all the misses, the carpenters, and everybody who came, who you people brought to Abuja to do the construction of the Aso Rock, all of them were wiped out. You told them after the construction that they were going to collect their salary, they were going to collect their money, and they all came to the very same Aso Rock Hall today. And as they entered, the military boys that were in there sprayed every one of them to death. And they were buried in a mass grave right there in Abuja. Secrets can hide, but they will not hide always. Because the evil that some of you leaders of Nigeria have done will be brought to light. And then you went ahead, General Ibrahim Babangida. You went ahead because you thought you were so powerful. You could do and undo. Before you get, when you were at the rank of a colonel, you took somebody's wife. And you killed her first son. And that person today happened to be the late Mariam Babangida, who you thought was from Asaba, but was actually from Agbaro land in Delta State of Nigeria. You took somebody's wife because you were a military commander. And after you took his wife, the late Bongos Ikwe, you killed their first son. And you made Mariam Babangida to become the first lady of Nigeria. And in the bid of Mariam Babangida to become as powerful as her husband, she to join several satanic cults all over the world in order to draw power to Nigeria. So Nigeria has been frolicking under the influence of demonic powers. And that continued until Abacha came into power. And of course, God dealt his deadly blow on General Abacha. But for people who think that they know too much, I want you to tell me, how did you think General Abacha died? Oh, you guys just heard that an Indian woman came and gave General Abacha apple to eat, and General Abacha died. What you did not know is that the decision to kill Abacha and to kill late Chief Moshood Abiola was made here in America. It was the Bill Clinton government. It was the government of Bill Clinton that decided that even though Chief Moshood Abiola was his own friend, they were together in Harvard Business School, and Moshood Abiola just happened to be the man who sponsored so much of Bill Clinton's first term in office, his first campaign. But when the time came to wipe either Abacha and Abiola out of the question, it was Bill Clinton who decided to use the power, the resources of the CIA to kill General Abacha. And so they brought an Indian woman who actually was a CIA agent and was brought in by General Jeremiah Husseini, who is from Plateau State, a member of the Lantan Mafia. It was General Husseini who brought that woman into the Aso Rock with the clear instruction of what to do. The apple that was given to Abacha was injected with a cyanide. And the point where the cyanide was injected was a part Abacha ate. And Abacha died on the spot. And when it was time for power to change hands, they did not want Moshood Abiola to take over power. So they went into the second phase of their plan. General Abdusalam Abubakar, that very wicked old man, who people are now seeing as a saint today, you guys will never imagine what General Abdusalam Abubakar did in Nigeria. Some of them, if they don't die before their time, the revolution will slaughter every one of them, because we know what they did. General Abdusalam was in power, and he wanted to control things, and he was contacted by the Americans. Talking about Jeremiah Husseini, for you to know specifically what happened, General Jeremiah Husseini from Plateau State, who was a bosom friend of General Abacha, was given $20 million in order to carry out the dastard act of assassinating Abacha. Well, Abacha was a wicked man. Some may say he deserved what he got, but then the stories will not add up at the end of the day if we believe in true justice, right? I'm happy some people were spared. We are happy that some people were not spared. But in a way, General Abacha did some things which God wanted him to do. God brought him into power and God took him out of power. But how many people knew how these arrangements were made? And then when it was time to kill Chief Moshood Abiola, fortunately and unfortunately, the conspiracy had to grow wide. The Commonwealth was brought into the act. The United Nations was brought into the act. And that was why on the very day Chief Moshood Abiola was to be assassinated, certain key factors were brought into play. Chief Kofi Annan flew in from the UN. And then our own brother, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, who was the then Secretary General of the Commonwealth, flew in from England. And they all met at the Aso Rock. with General Abubakar, General Abubakar Abdul Salam, who was then the president, the military head of state. They all drank tea when these people came, because they did stay more than 3 hours in the palace. They didn't stay more than, the whole visit was just 3 hours. There was nothing they told Abacha, Chief Abiola on that day. It was, Abiola just sat down, and these guys came and they served tea. Abiola, being smart, decided to wait to know what was going on. He waited for all of them to drink the tea. Abdul Salam drank his own cup of tea. Chief Emeka Nyaoku drank his own cup of tea. Kofi Annan drank his own cup of tea. When he saw that they've taken like 2 sips before Chief Abiola drank his cup of tea. But what Chief Abiola did not know, unfortunately for him, was that his cup of tea was washed in a cyanide solution. The people knew that if Chief Abiola, if they just served the tea, that Chief Abiola, being intelligent as he is, he was not going to drink of that tea. So they decided to wash that cup of tea in a cyanide solution. So when Chief Abiola was drinking his tea, he did not know that he has been outsmarted. Chief Abiola drank that tea from a cup that was already dipped into a cyanide solution. That was the reason why Chief Abiola did not die immediately, because the cyanide did not go into his system immediately, because the cyanide was mixed with the tea, but not directly into the tea. So when Chief Abiola drank that tea, of course his heart started sinking. But you see, it took 2 weeks before Chief Abiola finally died. So it was so easy to cover up the truth of what happened, how America helped to assassinate 2 Nigerian leaders. Why am I bringing up this story? Because some gullible Nigerians will say, do you think America will watch and a duplicate rule over Nigeria? Do you think Britain will watch and a duplicate will rule over Nigeria? And you don't have common sense to think that these people don't have our interests at heart. They don't have our interests at heart. At best, they want all of us to wipe each other out so that they can take over our resources. The West will never work for our good. The IMF, the World Bank, they will never work for our good. They want us indebted so much so that we will depend on them. We will be recolonized. We will become slaves. But Nigeria, there is a way out. We can still save our country. Things will have changed when Chief Olusegun Obasanjo came into power. For your information, I was an Obasanjo boy. Yes, he knows me directly. He knows my name. So I will not come on social media and say something that I know eventually is going to get to him if I don't know what I'm saying. And he's going to know, oh, you did this to me? And I will say, yeah, I love Nigeria more than I love Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, of course, was brought into power by the military cabal. That was very, very clear. That was very, very clear. But then Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was brought in. He was not brought in for himself. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was brought into power to be used as a pawn. When Chief Olusegun Obasanjo discovered why he was brought into power, he became a vampire. That was why Babangida could not control him. Abdul Salam could not control him. You see how the game was played? Babangida Obasanjo became a vampire and then became a godfather in the process. So now, the northern oligarchy discovered they could not use Baba Obasanjo anymore. Of course, they did a lot of things to turn against him, but Baba also did a lot of things. Fellow Nigerians, I am from Delta State of Nigeria. I am an Urobo by tribe. I am a Niger Delta boy. So I want you to know one thing. I have a strong allegiance to my people, but I love my nation, Nigeria. I love the stability of my nation, Nigeria. And I will do anything to save my nation, Nigeria, from total collapse. But I want you to know that in the time of Kensaro Wiwa, Our Niger Delta boys were only protesters. Just like what the IPOP boys are doing and the Arewa boys are doing. They were only protesting for a better care for their people. Brethren, do you know how the Niger Delta boys, the militants of Niger Delta boys, did you know how they came about? This was in a security report, extensive security report that I wrote to the late Chief Yaradua. And there I made the late Yaradua to know that, look, Baba Obasanjo is the one who started arming the Niger Delta boys. Baba Obasanjo was one of the people that armed the Niger Delta boys. Those boys were used for political thuggery. And when Baba came into power, they decided not to pay those boys the money that they were owed. Guess what they did? They decided to turn the Niger Delta boys against each other. That is how militancy was formed in the Niger Delta. And today people are looking at my Niger Delta boys and thinking that they are criminals without asking how did they come about becoming criminals. Politicians in Abuja sat and decided to destroy the Niger Delta, the richest oil producing region of the nation, and armed our boys. Have you guys ever wondered why the arms of the Niger Delta boys are more sophisticated than the military? Because those arms were brought in from Ukraine and from South Africa. And how did they enter into Nigeria? When Nigeria had army, air force, navy, vibrant military. In spite of the vibrant military, all those sophisticated arms and ammunition were brought into Nigeria. And people are still wondering how it happened. Another wicked soul that was used by the devil, or because it became a tool in Obasanjo's hand, was the former governor of Rivers State, Chief Peter Odili. Chief Peter Odili was one of the greatest instruments in the hand of Baba Obasanjo to bring arms and ammunition into Nigeria. You get that? Peter Odili was used, dangerously used, to bring arms into Nigeria. Have you people wondered why, when Obasanjo was stepping down, Peter Odili was one of the people that bought the presidential form, right? Peter Odili bought the presidential form. Have you wondered why Obasanjo did not give him the presidency? Because Obasanjo was seen to be shopping for a replacement for himself. And some of the people he shortlisted included Donald Duke. If this information ever gets to Donald Duke, then he should be embarrassed. Because Donald Duke bought the presidential form. He bought the form, but Baba Obasanjo played him. Baba Obasanjo did not have any intention of handing over power to anybody. Baba Obasanjo wanted to continue for a third term. At least some of you know this already. Only that you do not know the power play that happened behind the house. So how did it finally end up? How did we end up with Yaradua, the late Yaradua, and my brother Jonathan, good Lord Jonathan? Baba Obasanjo knew from security report that the late Yaradua had a heart problem and that his heart was functioning only 50%. But Baba Obasanjo needed an avenue because there is a clause in our electoral law. That's the place that if an elected official, if somebody is elected into office and something happens before the person is sworn in, the incumbent has a right to remain in office for another 3 to 6 months, depending on whatever situation whatever the situation will be. So Obasanjo was playing the first one, and he decided to choose Yaradua. And on the other hand, he needed somebody who will clear the way if anything ever happened to Yaradua. And so he looked to himself, who else? Good Lord Jonathan was like the worst governor at that time. The man eventually have no brain of his own. It is his wife that is shaking, even though it's easy. Funny enough, it is his illiterate wife that was actually shaking him up. And so that is, at the end of the day, they chose Yaradua and they chose good Lord Jonathan. You understand? They chose Yaradua and they chose Goodluck Jonathan. But choosing Yaradua was not all. Obasanjo must make sure that Yaradua die. And there were several avenues through which this evil must be achieved. If Yaradua is put through the rigor of campaign, of regular campaign, his heart will fail him and he will die. And do you know that that chapter 1 worked? It worked because Yaradua passed out during the campaign. Yaradua was rushed to London, to Germany. To Germany. But do you know that this game did not end? What I'm going to tell you now came from the mouth of Yaradua. I heard it directly from the mouth of Yaradua because some of you know that I was a Yaradua man too. I was a very deeply connected Yaradua man. And this came from the mouth of Yaradua. Do you know in the hospital in Germany, General Obasanjo sent an SSA, a DSS officer to follow him. Who at that time, this man happened to be the bodyguard of Yaradua. And his intention was to make sure Yaradua never came back to Nigeria. His intention, his orders were to make sure he assassinate Yaradua. And unfortunately, this DSS young man developed conscience. He developed a conscience and he decided not to kill Yaradua. He decided to own up and tell Yaradua the plan to get him killed. So he pleaded with Yaradua, please, for the sake of my family, you have to protect me. I was told to kill you, but you are such a good man, I cannot kill you. Please, it is Baba who told me to kill you, but you must protect me. And Yaradua said, wow. But Yaradua made one big mistake. One very, very big mistake that the late Yaradua made was to have told his wife. That was a big mistake Yaradua made. That was why his wife took over power when Yaradua died and she refused to hand over power. That woman was only reacting. But that I considered as a big error because Yaradua should have kept that secret to himself. He told his wife, and the wife was like, wow, oh, so they want my husband dead, and we shoot them. So when eventually Yaradua became a vegetable, that woman became wounded and decided not to hand over power. Eventually, when they prevailed on her and she left the power and Jonathan came into office, but the people thought that the Northern Cabal were victimizing Jonathan. No, it has nothing to do with Jonathan at that time. But sincerely speaking, I was one of the people who never supported Jonathan. You see, I never supported him when Yaradua was alive. I never supported him when Yaradua was dead because I never knew that that man was really clueless. And so Jonathan came into power and the rest is history. Babangida, the same year, this Buhari and all of that, they went and they started the northern military force, the Boko Haram and all of that. They did all of that in order to checkmate Jonathan out of power. You see that when Yaradua came into power, he became the first person who was able to pacify the Niger Delta boys. Do you know why? Because the late Yaradua had no evil agenda. He had no hand in any evil agenda. But Jonathan came. Jonathan was a lily-livered man. He couldn't handle the system. So the system dealt with him very badly. Today, Yaradua came into power. And it was very clear that something needed to be done to stabilize the nation. Unfortunately, in order to deal with the system also, they created a counter-terrorist group to checkmate the Boko Haram they created. That was why you guys heard about the ISIS and the Boko Haram. Now it looks as if there are two military groups fighting, two terrorist groups. No, they were just people that were hired to do the job that they are doing. Fellow Nigerians, Buhari came into power and they told us that they are fighting corruption. Please tell me, where is the corruption today? How many soldiers have we lost? How many innocent men have we lost? How much longer do we want to lose? If we don't save Nigeria now, there won't be Nigeria again. Look at the rate at which ritual has taken over Nigeria. All our young ones, almost everyone is going into ritualistic lifestyle now. Now people cannot take a bike, take a bus or anything. People are disappearing everywhere. Nigeria is no more safe. If armed robbers don't come after you, ritualists will come after you. If ritualists don't come after you, fraudsters will come after you. And I sit and I ask myself a question. How long more do we have to keep quiet? This is my message to the Nigerian Armed Forces, to the gallant men of the Nigerian military. I know it is very easy to say, oh, you sit over there in America, like I said earlier, and you want us to change things. I said all that I've just said now to reveal to you that we are in more trouble than you even imagine. Our problem is not just political. It's highly demonic. Our rulers have soiled their hand in so much blood. If you think things will just change overnight, then you are living in a fool's paradise. I want to say clearly to you Nigerians, to my people Nigerians, listen and listen very well. In 2019, your PVC will not change anything. Listen and listen very well, fellow Nigerians. In 2019, your PVC will not change anything. I speak to you, my brother Mogalu, from I know you are from the Igbo land. I've not checked out your state. You understand now? I know I've not checked out your state, but I know you're an Igbo guy, and I know you're highly intelligent. Somehow, I know you work with the United Nations, you work with the Central Bank, you are very sound. Intellectually, you are very, very sound. But my brother Mogalu, you can't save Nigeria. Nigeria is swimming in blood. Nigeria right now does not need a gentleman. Nigeria needs a radical revolutionist to save what we have right now. And I want to speak to you, Showore. I love the zeal with which you are going about your campaign. I monitor everything you do. I monitor what you do. But please, Showore, you cannot save Nigeria. You don't have what it takes to save Nigeria. I speak to you, my sister Ezekwesili. You have very, very good pedigree. You have very, very good credentials. You cannot save Nigeria. As it stands right now, take it or leave it, Nigeria is way beyond saving, even though there is a solution. But Nigeria is really, really way beyond saving. But like I said, there is a solution. Only that the solution cannot be by your PVC. The solution to save Nigeria from the bloodbath we are in now, it cannot be done by your PVC. I salute all those who have been campaigning, mobilizing. Make sure you vote. Make sure your vote count. Make sure you vote. Make sure your vote count. Fellow Nigerians, which political party in Nigeria do you think want to ensure that your vote will count in 2019? Is it PDP or is it the APC? You just saw what the evil the APC just did. Do you really think APC want a peaceful election in Nigeria? When in all their gubernatorial elections, they could not have peace. None of them had peace at all. None of the elections of the APC was peaceful. No election of the PDP was peaceful. Abubakar Atiku simply bought his success. Abubakar Atiku did not contest any election. Abubakar Atiku did not contest any primary. Now, if that is anything to go by, just wait a minute. Oh, we want to replace one demon with another demon, right? The APC is a very useless party. It's a very wicked party. It's a very satanic party. And then we want to replace the APC with PDP, right? Oh, very good. That just sounds very good. Somebody called them the two Siamese twins of corruption, and which is exactly what the APC and the PDP are. Please, somebody tell me what is the difference between the APC in Nigeria? Is it a party that has people like Mohammed, a man who lies with the two sides of his mouth, like as if he's a child playing soccer? Or who is this person in the APC? Wait a minute. I just missed out one point. Or perhaps it is that masquerade from Edo State who is the head of the APC right now. The former governor of Edo State, who people thought was a champion of democracy. Please, fellow Nigerians, do like this. Shine your eye very well. That masquerade from Edo State that is the leader of the APC right now is one of the most satanic men that live in Nigeria. That man belongs to a secret society that sleep with children. I'm not talking about I'm talking about children between the age of 11 years old downward. That man is a demon in human form. You really think a man of his pedigree is going to ensure a peaceful election in Nigeria? Wow. You must be living in a fool's paradise indeed. And then, just look at the people that they've gathered together in the party. All the demonic possessed people are in that party. Then you now come to APC, to PDP. I know some of my friends who are here who approached me earlier on over PDP to join the PDP party here in the diaspora. I know they're going to be disappointed, but I speak as an oracle of God. I owe no one no explanation. I owe no one no apology. My love for my nation, Nigeria, transcends any relationship I have with you. I can sever ties with you without blinking an eye, without any emotional involvement. I'm ready to sever ties. I love my Nigeria more than what you can think. Hold on, Nigerians. PDP is coming, and they've just told you they are going to change things. PDP is campaigning, and they are telling us they're going to bring the solution, the much needed solution we want in Nigeria. Oh, does that not sound very good? And just to come to think of it, and that same PDP just happened to have Bukola Saraki as one of the promoters, right? A ritualist, an armed robber, a bank robber, and all of the above. And he wants to bring change to Nigeria, right? They want to empower the economy. After stealing everything, they now want to empower the economy. That is the people you want us to vote for. Or they're telling you to vote for. Fellow Nigerians. Oh, I am very, very wounded. God bless you, my brother. God bless you, Brother Philip. God bless you dearly. God bless you. I received that your prayer. I received that your prayer. I convert it and I receive it. Fellow Nigerians, in case your memory is so small, your memory is so short, you forgot so soon. Abubakar Atiku, in case you want me to spill the beans, he's not only a thief. If Abubakar Atiku is only a thief, we can manage it. Because on the cross of Calvary, there was a thief by the side of Jesus. Yes, there was a thief by the side of Jesus. So, Abubakar Atiku, if he was just a thief, that would have been, we can manage it. But Abubakar Atiku is way beyond a thief. Abubakar Atiku is a monster. In case some of you have forgotten so fast, or maybe most of you don't even know. Do you know, fellow Nigerians, do you know that Abubakar Atiku was one of the people in those days when they were blaming Igbo people for fake drugs in Nigeria? Do you know that Abubakar Atiku made this money from fake drugs? Do you know that Abubakar Atiku made so much of his money from selling fake drugs in Nigeria? Abubakar Atiku made so much money from selling fake drugs. Do you know that the drugs this wicked man sold killed a lot of innocent Nigerians? Do you know that at all? Not only that, then Abubakar Atiku went into ritual. money ritual. And Abubakar Atiku made so much money from money rituals. This man that made so much money from money rituals, you not think he's going to come and save us? Please, somebody who knows about Abubakar Atiku should deliver this message to him. My name is Abraham Lewis. I am a prophet of God. I live here in the United States of America. I am above death. I cannot be assassinated. I cannot be killed. No bullet can enter this body. Just mark my word. Even if you set my car on fire, I will be inside that car. The fire will be burning. I will walk out of that fire with no scratch to my body. I have seen accidents in my life. I'm talking about gruesome accidents. Somebody who knows Abubakar Atiku should ask him this question. The blood of the 9-year-old girls that he sacrificed to be in power, where did they go? What happens to them? What happens to the blood that this useless, wicked man sacrificed? Do you know how many people Abubakar Atiku sacrificed for his coven asked him to bring? Mention my name, call my name and ask him. Abubakar Atiku, you will not become president of Nigeria. If the whole of Nigeria vote for you and declare that you will become president of Nigeria, I, one man, I stand as an oracle of the Most High God. I stand as a prophet of the Most High. I speak to the heavenly, I speak to the earth. If it remains one day for you to win election in Nigeria, you will become a thing of the past. I stand as a voice of the Almighty. Abubakar Atiku, you will never become president in Nigeria. The heaven above you is shut down. Your glory is waned. Abubakar Atiku, you will not become president in Nigeria. Mark my word. Ask those who know about me. Let them tell you. I have never said somebody will lose election and they won that election before. Go and check it. When people were campaigning here for Hillary Clinton, and I told them, you guys should go and sleep because you don't know who Hillary Clinton is. Because if you know who Hillary Clinton is, you will never vote. You will never mention Hillary Clinton to become president of America. And people told me to shut up. I know nothing. I said, okay, no problem. No problem. Let us watch and see who has the day. Did Hillary Clinton become president of America? I told them God chose Donald Trump. God chose Donald Trump to become president of America. Did it happen? Ask anybody. I speak today as an oracle of God. Abubakar Atiku, you will not become president of Nigeria. Listen, people of my people, Nigerians. I do not say God said Atiku will not become president of Nigeria. I speak as an oracle of God. And I tell you, Atiku will not become president of Nigeria, whether dead or alive. Atiku will not become president of Nigeria. They made an arrangement with you. Mr. Victor, God bless you. God bless you dearly. They made an arrangement with you. The breed issue will be swept under the carpet. I know you people don't want to listen to Nnamdi Kanu because he's a leader of IPOB and he has his own issues. I am for Nigeria anyway, as you can see. I am for Nigeria. I want Nigeria to remain. Well, and I want Nigeria to remain because God wants Nigeria to remain. There are things God wants to do in Nigeria which he has not yet finished doing. So Nigeria is not going to divide anytime soon. Mark my word. Write it down anywhere. Write the date, the time, and everything down. Nigeria is not going to divide anytime soon. Because There are divine assignment God wants to bring to pass in Nigeria, and so it's not yet time for Nigeria to separate. But everyone, I said this in my last broadcast, everyone who had hand in Nigeria being where they are, their blood will flow on the street. Everyone, their blood will flow on the street. To you, my people from the north, if you want to maintain power, if you feel that you must still maintain power in 2019, you have only one bullet left in your gun. There is a man who I respect so much, and he does not even know that I know him, and that is Colonel Abubakar Umar, a prince of Fulani land, but a man who is truly Nigerian. If you want to get a credible northerner to take over power in Nigeria and complete your tenure, go and bring Abubakar Umar to the table. Watch and see how the support for Abubakar Umar will work for you. But let me tell you one thing. All those deadly ritualists, whether in the cabal of the dead Buhari or in the PDP, they will never see Aso Rock. Those who think on their own part that they are the one in power already and that they will keep the power. Brethren, in rounding up, I want to send a message to the Nigerian military. We want a revolution in Nigeria. We want a strong revolution in Nigeria. But taking up arms in Nigeria right now will not help anybody. Nigerian army, unless you are no more the gallant men of the military that we know, it is time you save this nation from this embarrassment. Have any conscience left in you, it is time you go to Aso Rock and arrest everybody you see in Aso Rock. Arrest everybody, all those wicked politicians. Arrest every one of them. And let there be a change of power now. Because if you guys think that 2019 is going to come and there's going to be an election in Nigeria, keep sleeping and keep wishing, because you will not see it. You don't even know what is being planned already in Nigeria. How many factions of the military right now wants to take over power? And I am speaking to those different factions of the military that want to plot this coup d'etat. Please, if you guys go about it the way you are planning it right now, you will destroy Nigeria. You will just scatter everything. The innocent Nigerians don't need to suffer for the evil that others have done. What you need to do, gallant military men of the armed forces, mobilize every one of you. All generals in Nigeria should be arrested with immediate effect.